Well, the tough start to SuperCoach 2020 continues. Not only is the season all messed up, but the team has been underwhelming. The first couple of rounds scored a pretty average 2,164. I mean, it doesn't look that bad. Top 18%. We went up a ton of spots, but I'm still ranked outside the top 30k. And a lot of scores I've seen in round two have been far, far better than mine. So I feel like I'm behind the mark a little bit, and it's been quite a disappointing start. But it is what it is. Let's take a look at the team. A few changes were made before and during round two. One glaringly obvious change that I very much regret, but let's go through it. Defense was shocking. Starcevic was my best scorer, and I looped him with Bailey Williams on field, traded in Trent Rivers, and he looked good. Showed some speed off half-back and composure with the footy, so it was good to see. Dan Houston, man, started with him obviously because of the mid-time he was supposed to get, but he hasn't been great at all. 79 and a 60. And he spent a lot of time in defense. Heat map had him at 70% in the defensive half. Didn't attend many centre bounces. So it's worrying, to say the least, and I'm not sure what to do with him. We'll talk about that later. But Sam Doherty, I feel like he got robbed a little bit. Maybe some of the late game possessions hurt him, but I still feel like he deserved at least a ton. John Noble, not great, but it was tough conditions against a tough opponent. He only made 15k though, and his break-even is now at 15, so that's a little bit concerning. Jared Brander, you take that for a rookie, but considering West Coast got absolutely destroyed by Gold Coast, I don't know if his spot in the side is safe. Hopefully it is. And the change I regret very much. Tom Duday. Man, this trade backfired on me big time. I was worried that fielding Starcevic, Brander, and Rivers would backfire and really hurt me scoring-wise. Instead, trading in Duday backfired. He scored 39, a lot worse than the other three, and now I'm stuck with him in the team. So it's really a mess in defense, but I just got to accept this and somehow move forward. On to the midfield. Jack McRae, some pretty subpar scores by his lofty standards. A 103 and now a 93. The Dogs have been shocking, and he hasn't been attending as many centre bounces as usual. I think the Dogs' main three were Bontempelli, Dunkley, and Bailey Smith. McRae's been pushed out to the wing a little bit. I feel like Lockie Hunter being suspended kind of hurt him and pushed him out onto the wing. But it's Jack McRae. We know he'll get back to his best sooner rather than later. Paddy Cripps, a tough 3/4, but really stepped up in the fourth in Carlton's attempt to come back. He missed a couple of set shots he really should have gotten, but you definitely take a 117 after his first 3/4. Josh Dunkley made him my captain, a bit of a pod choice. He's had a couple of good games against the Saints previously, and he had another great game. Definitely the Dogs' best player along with Bailey Smith in a really shocking effort by the team. But 131 as captain, that's great. Stephen Cornelio was good. Dane Zorko, if he didn't kick that last second goal, I'd be looking at a mid-80s score. Very disappointed that I picked him in the first place. But he got that goal, tonned up, and you take it. That was good to see. And Matt Rowell, my goodness, is it really just his second game? He was unbelievable. 171 against a stacked West Coast team. Unreal. And he went up 77k. And on the opposite end of the spectrum, Marlon Pickett with just the 37. Very disappointing. Harley Bennell, Of course, Melbourne being very cautious with him, and rightly so, only 50% game time, but he was very good. 14 touches, 59 Supercoach points. You take that, all things considered. And on the bench, 48, 43, and a 34 from the 3 bench rookies, so that's not great. And McHenry there was traded in for Kavara because Sturt wasn't named. The Rucks, Grundy as vice, didn't fire, but of course Dunkley got more than him anyway, so that was fine. And Max Gawn, one of the captains that I considered, along with Cripps and McRae. I did say Gawn, Cripps and McRae last video, but I did go with Dunkley, which paid off. But of course, if I went with Gawn, I'd be very, very happy and with a score over 2,200, but it wasn't to be. But Gawn, unbelievable. He was everywhere and a well-deserved 184. And the forward line, Whitfield, knocking on the door of a ton, but couldn't quite get there. But 97's not a bad score. Dusty, he had his fair share of the footy, but turned it over a ton. So that definitely hurt him. Segler, pretty disappointing. Had a great first quarter, but really got outplayed by Stanley for the majority of the night. Plus the Hawks got absolutely destroyed, so that doesn't help his cause. But good to see as a Cats fan. Brayshaw was great to 3/4 time. It was at 81 and would have been great to see the ton, but a quiet fourth quarter. So that is a little disappointing, but much better than the first week. Dev Smith, another 105. Good to see. And Curtis Taylor, been very good in his couple of games. Max King was really good, and Connor Buderick as well. So that's the team. Just like last week, I'm gonna wait on teams to be released to decide on what trades I make. I'm really considering trading out Houston. It doesn't look like he's going to be getting the mid-time we hoped he'd get. If I trade him, I'd have enough for Jeremy Howe, but I probably won't go with him. The guy I think I'll trade in is Jordan Ridley. Very solid start to the season for him. 97 average, and it gives me a fair amount of cash, and he can be a solid D6 for a fair bit, I think. Especially because I don't have the likes of Lockie Neal and Nat Fife. The extra cash would really help in bringing those guys in. But that's one I'm definitely considering. I'd love to be able to go Duday to Ridley, but I don't know where I'd get the extra 50k from, because I only have 32.7k as it is. I can't see myself getting an extra 50k unless I go like John Noble to Hayden Young, but I don't think I'll be doing that. Like if Sam Sturt gets named, I'll be trading someone out to him, maybe like Tyler Brown to Sturt, put Buderick in the mids and get him into the team. But I'm not sure. That's my thinking at the moment. Houston, very likely to be traded out at the moment to Ridley. And if Sturt gets named, then I'll bring him in. But I'm going to leave everything as is right now and wait for lineups to be released. Captain and vice captain. This is tough. There's some interesting matchups this round. I'm not sure what I want to go with. Grundy's taking on Ryder and Marshall, so that will be interesting. Gawn will probably take captaincy against Essendon. My vice, I really don't know. I could go Dunkley again against the Giants, or I could stick with Grundy. Maybe Cripps. Geelong don't really tag. I mean, they sort of tagged Mitchell for a short part of the game, but not really. So I could go Cripps, McRae as well, but he hasn't been spending as much time in the middle, so I'm not sure on that. That's tough. I don't know. I'm a bit stumped. Even Whitfield, maybe. The way teams have been dominating the Bulldogs, Whitfield could be an okay choice. You know what? I might do that for now. Whitfield, Grundy, Dunkley, Cripps. There's a few vice captain options. Captaincy will stay on Gorn, but we'll have those four as options. I'm going to leave it there. Good luck to all of you this week, and I will see you guys in the next video.